Kayıt almaya başladım. Gökçe söz sende.
Tamam. Ve hocam bir şey eklemek istiyorum ayrıca da. Şu an iş yerinde olduğum için herhangi bir dışarıdan gelecek etkiye karşı önceden bilgi vermek istiyorum.
Hı hı.
Bir sıkıntı yaşanabilirse diye.
Tamam.
Tamam.
Tamamdır.
Ekranım geldi sanırım.
Evet, tam ekran yapabilir misin?
Tabii. Tamam. Başlangıç yapıyorum. Okay. Um, it's about operations research in the airline industry.
Bu arada
Uh,
Gökçe sözünü kestim.
hı hı.
Sunumunu İngilizce de yapabilirsin, Türkçe de yapabilirsin. Tamam mı?
Tamam. İngilizce devam etmeyi tercih edeceğim.
Tamam. Güzel olur.
Tamamdır. It's topic of the models and the methods for managing airline irregular operations. I'm going to show you my representation at the topic of the aircraft performance and operation analysis lesson. So I'm continue. This is my content. Today I'm going to start with the introduction part, and after problem definition, mathematical representation, time band approximation, randomized search heuristic, preliminary results, and totally I'm going to show you the conclusions. Okay. Today in my representation, we will consider the irregular operations aircraft routing problem. There are several approximations and defined procedure called GRASP. The objective is to minimize the cost problems like shortage of aircraft, cancellations, delays, occurred situations. At the end of the process, airline must be put on schedule. These two models illustrate the difficulty of problem. Also, they represent efficient solution methods. And the third one is time-based network representation. This is time horizon, and it's divided into fixed intervals. Local differences, size, and accuracy are scoped in this model. There are too many dynamics of airline flight scheduling problems. When schedule is determined, the actual resources start to be important, as you know. Since resource assignments are interrelated, resources of aircraft and crew assignments, and they should be handled very efficiently. However, we try to get optimum results. We are always open to face unplanned scenarios. So in that case, decisions must be made in real time to reassign available aircraft and delays or cancels, in a cost-effective way. The goal of the irregularities, as you see, quick, least costed, and got back on schedule in response to the grounding. In this problem, underlying inputs can be summed, as you see. Entire network is determining the approximate aircraft substitutions, delays, and cancellations. The output is least costed aircraft to flights, put the airline back on schedule. The main topic is that here. There are several studies conducted by different researchers in history related to all of this subject, but I won't mention it here as I will cover the details later of my presentation. And so now I'm continuing with the problem definition part. As I said before, the objective of this concept, as you can see here, using unassigned aircraft, delaying flights and cancellations are taken into consideration. End of the day, aircraft location requirements is known as aircraft balance. And this balance topic must be satisfied if any reassignment of aircraft grounding. Okay, we will see the two mathematical representations of irregularity problem. Both are alternatives of flight coverage, aircraft balance, resource utilization. In the first one, path flow formulation can be determined exactly, but it's difficult to solve. It takes more time. What I mean. The other one is intuitive arc flow formulation, and delay costs are difficult to capture. We can say there is complexity of problem solving actually by the techniques way. Okay. This is the path flow formulation. As I said before, costs can be determined exactly, but finding solutions is difficult. And the representation of the what I said before, and multi-commodity network, intuitive arc flow formulation, as you can see in this scheme, flight delay costs are difficult to capture, and these sometimes may some irregularities about this concept. What I mean that is, okay, in resource assignment model, path flow formulations are shown. Like aircraft routing, paths begins from available aircraft and adheres to feasible station, like as you can see. As you can see all of these models. So path may be assigned. For this part of the presentation, these definitions are, as you can see, N, M, and R letters means are as shown. Also, following notations are in the next slides. I'm going to start with the concept deeply right now. Okay. The sets F, Q, or S are given. Set P must be generated for selected available feasible condition. Feasible means here null route, namely one that has no flights. Parameters of AIJ and BJT are indicators. AIG indicates existence of flight, I in routing J. B, JT identifies station T as termination point for routing J. Cost of assigned specific aircraft K routing to J is DJT. This consists of flight delay costs. CI, cost of canceling flights. Okay, HT, balance requirement at station T. To conclude, decision variables XJK and YI are binary variables, aircraft and cancellation, routes and flights to be determined. And right here, this is the consists of some of the costs with routing and cancellation costs. This means that second is assures each scheduled flight is either one or only assigned route or cancel. And the third one is termination requirement for each station. And the fourth one is assignment to one end, only one routing. these are all show the irregularities parts or the complexity of this assignment. Okay. All the requirements of this model impress for solution feasibility. This model is general integer problem, and T is difficult to solve. So by using rote generator, optimal solution maybe can get. And that kind of problems are solved with column generation techniques, and also that requires sub-problems. Totally, it sometimes be hard to solve. Okay. To develop an alternative model to routing problem, visualization can be a good problem-solving technique or facilitator. In the network formulation, aircrafts are placed at stations. They become available and accessible. We can see in this model. Figure 7 illustrates network model for one sample station with 2 flights arrivals, okay, 3 flights departures, 1 is already at station. F1, F2, and F3 are flight nodes, and T1 is the station sync node. Okay, this is the main concept of this problem. Before network flow problem, we consider to some additional notations. I'm going to introduce some notations. GI cancellation source node for station containing node I or PI, etc. But I'm going to focus on this because I'm going to use them in the mathematical representation. For instance, A is set of arrival nodes, and F, the function of I, set of flight nodes, so successors for node I, and S is the set of aircraft source nodes. Okay. In this slide, decision variables Xij refers amount of aircrafts, Yij cancellation flow from node I to J. Parameter Dij estimates delay cost of node J immediately after arrival node I. Dij is important because actual delay costs are dependent on flight position and route. So in here, some of delay costs associated with flow and canceling costs. This one in 8.1, each flight arcs flow unity checks satisfaction of null or 1. And 9.1, each aircraft's assignment to flight paths, even it is null paths even. And these 10th, 11th, 12th flow constraints at each nodes. These ones imply all flow must be 0 or 1. And they define arcs of this flow. Okay. Even if this model can be solved efficiently, some difficulties exist. Not captured inputs causes to lower of these accuracies, these bundles. When specific flight paths find it, true delay costs can be calculated. Alternative of this, for each path length arcs of connection to calculate at the same time model size to be made increased. The challenge is that as a result, even if delay cost captured accurately, there's no guarantee of the optimum solution will be get. Two models are both handled right here up to now in the irregular operation main title. And the first one was about resources to be assigned to flight paths. This is the resource assignment models, positive ways, baby, and road connectivity, minimum turnaround time, and etc. Only this set of feasible flight paths is affected. We can get in this model. Okay, the second one was the multi-commodity, was about wheels, aircraft, and cancellation arcs. Advantages can be arranged, as you can see. In addition to the advantages, we will get some disadvantages, but right here, I want to talk about them. Efficient with respect to the number of flights, aircraft, and stations used by an airline. This is multi-commodity flow model. And this generally hard to solve because its size gets higher than basic ones. And this is the main topic of the solving problems, because due to the size of the matrix, maybe I can say. Okay, these are the disadvantages. This model doesn't allow interfleet aircraft substitutions or ferrying without modification. We have to make some modifications and reverse. Maybe we have to add something. So this matrix size gets higher, as I said before. Size of this model could be affected by an incount value. So accuracy of the solution decreases as a result. Okay. Well, after two models definitions and their features, we are continuing with the time band of approximation. In this section, approximation chains based on transformation of the problem to a time-based network will be scoped together, and delay costs will be more accurate than multi-commodity model. Generally, network has a time axis and nodes are placed on time of day they represent. This concept of this time band approximation, and this assumption makes possible considered flying paths, specific time segments, and its connections. Okay. Between the time bands, we are given these three informations: flight data like origin and destination, and list of time and location and station data. These are flight data containing the flight identifier and must be scheduled, and arrival times, expected duration, etc. are given. Second one was a list of aircraft availability with respect to the time and location one. Third is the station data, as I said. Okay. To start defining the station time node, node represents specific time segment at a specific station. Ordered lists of station time nodes, minimum turnaround time, delay costs function, and flights can be also set. In right here, for defined comments, mentioned nodes and controls are taken into consideration, and similar scripts are also can be created based on these concepts. The resulting network consists of two kinds of models: station time and station sync nodes. Each station time node corresponds to total number of flights during time horizon. Arcs show available aircraft for each time segment. However, station sync nodes are not allowed to represent single time segments. Okay, they represent all time segments aircraft for at station. We will see these details of this concept in later. Okay. Figure 9 illustrates time band network for a station. Time band is from 9 p.m. to the end of flying day. Minimum turnaround time is assumed 1.5 hours, and curfew is midnight. Time segment is 1 hour. Node 4 is station sync node. Node 1 indicates one or more aircraft already at station as available. Arc from 1 to 4 allows aircraft mode available for first hours. Nodes 2 and 3 have 2 and 1 inbound arcs. This means possible 2 flights to arrive 10 and 11 p.m. and one is 11 p.m. at midnight. Midnight expected 11:30 p.m. Node 4, 3 and 4 merge into at one station sync node. It is important to note time end of flying day can be any time after midnight. When all of these are taken into consideration, for optimal solution and sufficient network is made guaranteed. Okay. And the time band approximation model says that when delay costs are just about divide the time bands, this model also provides tight lower bounds, similar to previous sets, and indicates the green ones are important for choosing calculations subsystems. As I said before, F is a set of flights, and additionally, H for this problem is the set of destination nodes for flight K originating at station time node. Okay. P is the set station time node. Okay, these are the indices of this problem. Okay, I'm going to continue with the parameters and calculations of the mathematical formulation part. To build these sets, quadratic calculations occur with respect to the number of nodes and arcs. he write here, dj, dij, k is the only parameter must be calculated. Here, the objective function here, sum of delay costs for assigned flights and cancellation costs for remaining flights. These are the parameter sets, as I said before. You can put here and you can get the summation of this mathematical problem. 16th flight cover constraints and the 17 and 18 are conservation of flow constraints. This enforces aircraft utilizations. And the 19th and 20th binary flow along arcs and limit the cancellation indicators. When we see the 0 and 1, this means the cancellation or limits indicators. Okay. The 21 is the requires ZI values to have greater than 1 if more aircraft becomes available. Okay. In here, you can also see the procedure and the conclusion of maybe constructing an actual aircraft routing. These formulations are required. Assigning each flow is unique for aircraft. Procedure is presented below. Output is the assigned routes for each available aircraft. Maybe you can put this value here and you can try to understand of the concept of this. It always checks with its subsystems, and it's at the end of this procedure you can get the calculations basically. Okay. Another section is randomized heuristic or searching of heuristic. Construction phase is greedy evaluation for function. Randomization and adaptive updating process occur. Heuristic presented here is modification of grasp. Construction is not used, but the components employed in construction phase. It constructs feasible neighbors from routing pairs, evaluates merging cost, saves based route, based one, and randomly elects one of these. Null routings are also be compared with flight routings. This means utilizing available spare of the aircraft may be possible. We are getting the right solutions by when I get to the models. When I get to the next model, we get the right accuracy at the same time. Okay. Figure 10 illustrates two routings here, route 1 and 2. Each of them consists of flight number, origin, destination, and route 1 begins at station AAA, 3A maybe, terminates B, 3B. Okay, consists of 5 flights. Route 2 also consists of 5 flights, originates at station C, 3C, terminates A, 3A. These routings will be used as references for the neighborhood construction examples. Route 1 or route 2 be known as the target or source routing. For example, flights 7, 8, and 9, 7, 8, 9 can be placed after flight 5. 6 and 7 can be placed after flight. 6 and 7 can be placed, okay, after flight 2, because CC, CC, BB, BB, CC, okay, after that CC, CC, we can get that, okay. Also, the table 1 presents feasible neighbors for sample routings. Routes are the result of the operation listed. For example, number 1 is the result of exchanging flights 3, 4, 3, 4, and 5 for flight 6. Okay, neighbor number 2 here is result of removing flights 6 and 7 from route 2 and placing them after flight 2. Okay, and before flight 3 in route 1, before flight 3 in route 1. Okay. This is the main concept. We have to make some the exercises to get the main idea, but we can understand this concept real easily when we compare to the past ones. This, I want to show you the main idea of the randomized search heuristic. This is the, maybe it makes it easy to solve problem. Okay, these are also the polynomial or quadratic problems, but we can get the flight routing pairs or cancellation pairs right here, like calculating these mathematical deficiencies. Okay, definitions. Okay. This is the greedy evaluation function to determine best neighboring solutions and randomization and updating process. Iterations continue up to stopping criterion. There is a criterion, okay, stopping. It may be the number of iterations, functions of relevant variables, or combination figure 11. It represents flow charts of the grasp. We can see the details of this problem. These are the functions we can put here in kind of parameters, like the lack of improvement in neighboring solution or time, etc. After this criterion is met, the entire procedure also repeats. It's put on this flow diagram, like the selecting routing pair from incumbent solution. For this, we have to put the feasible incumbent solution. After a series of duration or something occurs here, and at the end of the day, we will get the output best solution. If we put here, we can easily get easier solutions could be get. Okay. Here, it is hard to see the tables deficiencies, but if you focus on these colored parts, you can get the main idea, I think. So I'm going to represent what I mean here. Okay, in preliminary results sections, we are starting to conclude right here. There are 3 aircrafts with 4 stations, like here. 12 flight samples are put here. Table 2 represents schedule for this example. Cancellation cost is a function of number of total passengers. Okay, 3 problem scenarios will be considered here. Each one grounding at the beginning of time horizon. For each one, objective is to reassign remaining aircraft to flights in a cost-effective manner. Each include 40-minute turnaround time. Ferrying is not permitted. And table 4, table 3, 4, and 5 represents the optimal solutions. Delay costs are function of 20 times T. T is the delay in minutes for all flights, parameter of the fee. This implies the $20 per minute. We can get, when we try to multiply with the 20 times T, we will get the cancellation cost, as you can see. And at the end of this this situation, when we add all of them, delay cost or cancellation cost, we will get total cost of this. And like here, it's very logical, I think. Delay cost, cancellation costs, total of this one. Okay, we can put these ones and we can get these ones. This is the sum of this preliminary results concept at the start of this concept. Okay, I'm continue with this concept. Also, the figure 12 illustrates time band approximation network constructed for this problem. Time band lengths are 30 minutes, as you can see. In this network, nodes 5, 11, 19, and 24 are station sync nodes. They are only distinction of this between scenarios in the placement of aircraft. Supply and demand at the station time and station sync nodes. These are all the station time nodes. You can see easily here. Okay, when we put on the schedule, you can see them easily. Okay. Here, table 6 presents the solution values obtained for each scenario. Each one relaxed linear program resulted in all integer solutions. Actual values also presented. Required turnaround times are embedded within connections. when we put on the connection nodes or etc., we get these solutions by using program. Okay, the actual delay cost can be captured from reconstructed rates. For scenarios, maximum deviation of the relaxed solution values from the optima is 6% for scenario 2. When you can focus on these values, you can see the deviation, highest deviation occurred here. This is the 6% of. By getting this, you can understand this linear program's efficiency or accuracy real easily. And also table 7 presents best solution by means of randomized search heuristic. In C, as you can see, and first one is original incumbent solution is itself local minimum. Randomization was unable to generate any better solution here. Yeah. However, in two randomized search heuristic was able. Okay. For scenario 3, heuristic was only able to get midway between original incumbent and the optimum will be get by using these models. Okay, I'm going to continue with the conclusion part of my presentation. What I told about today. We have started with the complex part of the problem solving of irregular operations aircraft routing problem. So when compared with all of these models, the time band approximation and the last one was randomized search heuristic can be combined to form the more efficient, more accurate one. Engine for an irregular operations aircraft routing decision support systems, or maybe we can get accurate solutions by using them. So the real-time recovery routines, when we get the ground aircraft are identified, we can get by visualizing this system, we can see easily, and airline operators use the system by addition information by me, specifying aircraft are ground and how long the recovery period should last, maybe. Okay, the time band approximation chain can be useful in calculating, as I said, the accuracy of these mathematical formulations. Setting time band lets it can be possible to get accurate solutions. And the last one is also the further methods can be used to solve this resulting model exactly for feasible solution. We have to put some accurate inputs to these mathematical parameters. After that, we can get the defined solutions. We can get. Okay. These are my questions about my presentation. This is the, I think, additional information about conclusion part, maybe. Questions are like here. This is the first one. I'm going to start with first one. If you want to answer them, you can you can answer, you can talk with me, okay? What are the three main issues may constrain the reassignment of aircraft? In my presentation, I have told about that. First of all, I'm going to start with all of these 5 questions, and after I'm going to answer them. So second one, describing the multi-commodity flow model briefly. And the third one is what's the difference of station time and sync nodes in time-band network concept. And fourth is how the time network guarantees the optimal solution. Fifth is, what's the objective of the main concept? I mean, irregular operations, aircraft routing problem. What's the objective? Okay, if you want answers, you can say. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm going to answer all of them step by step. The first one is the 3 main issues may constrain the reassignment of aircraft. 3 main issues are minimum turnaround time, interfleet substitution. Interfleet substitution is an airline's flexibility to allow interfleet aircraft substitutions. And the fourth is ferrying, practice of relocating empty aircraft, and if shortage occurs, may provide a scheduled maintenance service, maybe getting some help from any other parts, any other one, maybe. Okay. The second question was describing the multi-commodity flow model briefly. What I handled, this is for better understanding of problem and for developing alternative problems by the important one of this question, I think it's the visualization. This is the main topic of this answer, I think. Visual representation of irregular operations are handled. So the problem-solving technique gets easier by using visualization. And also when we put the delay costs, the capturing of this delay costs by using mathematical methods, it can be captured exactly, but it's still not captured like as we have any other models when we compared other ones. So this method is not still accurate, but visualization is the main idea of this topic. Okay. The third one, what's the difference of station time and sync nodes in the concept of time band network concept? When we think the time band network concept, we get small time intervals. I set 30 minutes intervals in my example, as you can remember. This is the each station time note, like 30 minutes intervals, also has one arc directed to its corresponding station sync note. Sync note is that, unlike the station time notes, station sync notes don't necessarily present a single time segment. It doesn't need to represent that. They represent all time segments for which aircraft may arrive at a station. Okay. The fourth one, how the time network guarantees the optimal solution. This is the later parts of my presentation. Time network guaranteed for best optimal solution. But how does it make this? Okay, the answer is if time band length is arbitrarily small and the size of the problem gets higher, it gets increased, the number of possible feasible flight paths also can be assigned, but is limited only by the original feasibility constraints. We have to choose some of constraints, feasibility options. Flight delays and attending costs would also be modeled precisely so that time band length of 1 minute maybe, it's up to us, or the concept of problem would result in exact representation of problem. Yeah, what I mean, when we get some small scales of about this problem, we can get accurate results, as we can also know from any other lectures from university time. This concept is the same, I think, what I say. Thus, a network with sufficiently small time band lengths will guarantee that the solution will also be optimal. We can get. Also, the last one, and this is the fifth one, and this is also the conclusion of this topic. What's the objective of irregular operations aircraft routing problem? While I was asking this question, I thought main objective, especially. The answer is the finding the least cost response, actually, to the grounding of aircraft, because we will get many results. We can get many different parts. We can put some inputs in the multiplication or calculations concept, but the main objective is finding the least cost and also the optimal one. And at the end of the day, we have to put the airline back on the schedule, because the next day it has to start with some set flights. We have to see this in paper. Appropriate responses also include decisions to reassign previously assigned aircraft to other flights. They can impress the other ones, use unassigned aircraft, delay flights, like these parameters. We want to put as we can get. We want to try this parameters put in the calculation techniques also. A response that gets an airline back on schedule is one that, when executed, puts the airline in a position to service all its published flights and scheduled by the start of the next day. This is the main idea, and what I try to do, we want to do this accurately and in a least costed way. This is the main objective of this part. I can say that. By saying this, I'm finishing my representation, and I'm going to thanks for your efforts. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
Sunum için teşekkür ederim. Öncelikle.
Rica ederim.
Evet, kaydımızı durdurabiliriz.